Thank you. And DOGE does happen to be the Democrats' favorite boogeyman out there. And I do want to be clear that under this administration, we are finally reining in government spending and rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. So during the pandemic and under the Biden administration, SBA loans were given out like candy. Let's not forget that individuals who used Barbie dolls as their photo identification were approved for SBA loans. This is totally unacceptable. In March, it was announced that due to DOGE's hard work in this area, they have uncovered more than 5,000 SBA loans equivalent to millions of dollars where the listed borrower was 11 years old or younger. Again, DOGE is the Democrats' favorite boogeyman. If updating outdated systems and saving taxpayers' time and money scares them, that says more about their priorities than ours. Are my Democratic colleagues saying that we should be ignoring billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse because we're focusing only on SBA today and not the entire federal government? The Biden administration tried to sweep this problem under the rug. We aren't doing that. In fact, we're going to do everything we can to stop it from happening again and recollect every penny that was stolen or misspent. As chair of the Senate DOGE caucus, I agree with the aim of DOGE, which is to ensure that taxpayer dollars are being used effectively and that waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government is rooted out. And this demonstrates why, to truly create change within the federal government, DOGE has been given access to many federal agencies and department systems, which has allowed them to cut through long-standing hurdles to find waste within each government entity. And all Americans should know that DOGE employees are federal employees. They are federal employees, subject to the same background checks, privacy laws, and restrictions regarding data sharing as any other federal employee. So if we want to discuss hypotheticals and leaked data, whatever might be out there, let's talk about real leaks and failures, starting with how a former IRS contractor leaked the private data of more than 400,000 taxpayers, including President Trump's. Additionally, I've heard my colleagues question if DOGE has saved money, and the answer is a resounding yes, and it's transparently listed on their website. DOGE is working to generate real savings and estimates that it has saved about $214 billion so far. DOGE is saving Americans money at across the federal bureaucracy. The Department of Veterans Affairs was paying $56,000 to water 8 plants. Yes, 8 household plants for 5 years. $56,000. I would have loved to have had that contract. Thanks to DOGE, this contract was canceled, and those plants will be watered for free. So while DOGE keeps delivering more savings every day, Democrats are more upset by the effort to stop wasteful spending than by the misuse of Americans' taxpayer dollars. As I've always said, if you can't find waste in Washington, D.C., there can only be one reason. You are not looking. Shouldn't we be pulling the plug on government waste instead of those who are finding it? I have 1 minute left, and I will go Mr. Hart talking about waste. I gave the egregious example of a Cuban illegal migrant militant who scammed the federal government for $2.4 million. Can you provide any other egregious examples of where there has been scams in the federal government?
Well, Senator, unfortunately I can. I think one example we haven't touched on is that in Atlanta, there was a mail carrier who stole Paycheck Protection Program checks from people's mailboxes along his routes and used it to provide personal clothing, personal expenses for himself. And we have to ask, why did that happen? And I believe it happens because when government gets in the business of deciding it can pick winners and losers, what it ends up doing is punishing the winners and rewarding the losers. And maybe instead of having a federal small business administration, we should return business to business and business to the states.
Wow.
And let them navigate the questions of the economics of it.
Okay, and that is pretty profound. So thank you for that. I would also like to make sure the ranking member is aware that on October 30th, I requested the SBA Inspector General to do an audit of the 8A program. So I ask unanimous consent that my letter be entered into the record, and without objection, so ordered.